Hi YouTube, my name is Claudia Marie and today I'm showing you a look with the Jaclyn Hill palette. To start off, we are using a primer, which is the Too Faced Hangover RX primer. I like to apply this to my T-zone because I am an oily skin queen. And I just dab it on. And your T-zone is the area that is like your nose, your forehead, Cupid's bow, and chin. And I like to kind of massage it in. It is a little bit moisturizing, which I kind of need, even though I do have oily skin, but it does give me like a healthy moisture, like not a lot of oils. Okay, and next for the rest of my face, I'm using the Master Prime by Maybelline. It is the shade 300, the green packaging. It blurs redness and pores, and I just like to apply that wherever I didn't put that other primer. So, and my chin, on my neck, and I do like to put it all over. Next is foundation. For foundation, I am using the Maybelline 24-Hour Super Stay Foundation. And my shade is in 110 Porcelain. And I am grabbing my damp beauty blender, which is like this. And this one is from TJ Maxx. They actually have some nice foundations, or not foundations, blenders or sponges. And I just like to dab that into my skin. And if you would like to apply more, you always can. I usually keep it light at first, and then I go in with more to see if I need more. And always make sure to get your neck, because you don't want to look like a clown or anything. And then I'm just going to apply it to my problem areas, which is kind of my forehead. I have a lot of redness on my forehead, my cheeks, my chin gets a lot of redness, and the sides of my nose. I don't like applying foundation directly onto my nose. I mean, I did before, but like I don't apply a lot. And then you can just buff that in. And to really get in the creases, I like to take my nose and kind of just like turn it a little bit so that I can get really in the creases of my nose. And then just kind of blend it in. And I do like to drag it down my neck because I feel like more product, like it evens it out a little bit. And it's a little bit more sheer on my neck. For concealer, I am using the Tarte Shape Tape, and this is in the shade Fair. And I'm sure plenty of people have heard about the Shape Tape concealer. And I like to apply it to my nose to kind of highlight the areas. Cupid's bow and chin. And then once there's like no product left, I kind of like to start blending it out with the little applicator, just cause so I can evenly distribute it and it makes less work. Okay, to blend that in, I am also taking my beauty blender or little sponge and then tapping it into the skin. And for this, I really like to get up close to the lash line and into the inner corner, because otherwise sometimes it'll look a little harsh in some areas if I don't like really press it in. And make sure to get the sides of your nose again if you want. And if you put concealer there, like I did. And then this is what it should start looking like. I do have to blend a little bit on the forehead. And since I do have a little more, I have a couple beauty marks on my face and some freckles, I'm going to put a second layer over that. And then on the pimples that I have, and then that should be about good for now. And then just start blending it in. And I do like to take whatever's left on my sponge and kind of run it along my ears and on the sides of my neck, because sometimes we forget about those areas and then it kind of looks a little wonky. And next what we are going to do is use the Maybelline Fit Me powder. And mine is in the shade 05 Fair. And I like to use the MUA Professional brush. It is a highlighter brush, but I use it for powder. And then I just like to dip right into the powder, what's, you know, in the cap, and then I stamp it on. And always make sure you're tapping off the excess with powders, because otherwise you can get like fallout and powder in unwanted areas. And if it can get a little messy sometimes. And then for the rest of my face, I like to kind of just sweep it around, because the places where I get most oily is in my T-zone, and especially at the top of my forehead. So I'm just going to pat it in those areas and then sweep on the other areas. And I do like to kind of put a little bit more powder than I need and then just swipe it off. And then down the neck and chin area, on the ears, because you put foundation there, and so you want to make sure that that's in place all day. And then just dust off anywhere that it looks a little powdery. Next we are moving on to eyebrows, and I will show you how I do my eyebrows, but I don't always recommend it because everybody has different eyebrow shapes, and I tend to go with my like natural shape, and as you can tell it's kind of like curved here, and I have very, very, very light hairs in the front. So yeah, just comb them up. And then what I like to do is I dip into my Anastasia dip brow. It's in the shade soft brown. And then I like to outline my brows first in the shade, or in the shape that I would like them to be, because I don't always go with the natural shape of my eyebrow, but I do for the most part. And then any mistakes we can clean up later. I usually just use my finger and kind of wipe it away, because I don't have time for all that concealer stuff. And then for the front of the brow, I really like to draw hair-like strokes. And then you can feather it out with the end of your spoolie. And also this brush that I have is from Ardell. I got it with this little brow pomade. And this brow pomade is actually really nice. It's a good drugstore option. They only have like one shade though, I think. I mean, they might have more, but I think mine is in dark brown. So, yeah. And I'm going to be right back. I'm going to do the other eyebrow off camera. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to take the Chocolate Soleil Bronzer by Too Faced. Mine is in medium/deep, and I like to kind of dip into it a little bit because it is not my shade. But I got it at TJ Maxx for a pretty good price, so why not? And then I like to take it kind of from my ear down. And I kind of, if you go like this, you'll see where your natural cheekbone is, and then you kind of want to contour it there. And then to blend it out, I like going in circular motions. And I like to bring it up, because if you go down, it's going to make it look like you have a 5 o'clock shadow, and we do not want that. And I kind of like to bring my hair up and then go down. And I do not think that this is the most pigmented for like medium to deep skins, but you can build it up to your preference. I tend to prefer it to be a little darker than me. Maybe like 3 shades. And then what I also like to do is when I do my hairline or my forehead, I like to bring my hair back and really get into the hairline. Because not that, you know, it always looks natural, but it'll make it look more natural, or at least a little natural. And then you can sweep it on the forehead, and I put a lot there. And then I do bring it down like in like a C shape on my forehead. And then you just do the same on the other sides. Pull your hair back, get really into that hairline, and blend. Blend it downward. This is really looking muddy on this side. Okay, and then that is it for my bronzer and contour, because the reason I don't contour my nose is because it's very small already. And so when you have a smaller nose, you don't really want to contour it because it's just going to make it look smaller. And I have, you know, kind of bigger eyes, so if I made it too small, it wouldn't match the rest of my face. Next is highlighter. I'm using the Wet n Wild MegaGlow highlighter. The shade is Blossom Glow, and I don't know if they still sell this. I haven't been to the drugstore in a while, so I don't really know, so sorry about that. And then I just apply this to my cheekbones. And it's really buildable, but like it doesn't look super like chalky. And I don't find it to emphasize much texture. It emphasizes a little bit, but any, you know, light and stuff is going to do that. And so next what I like to do is I like to bring it down my nose, because sometimes I figured like if contouring makes things look smaller, wouldn't highlight make it look wider. So that's what I like to do. And I put it on the bridge of my nose and the tip of my nose. And then with the brush, I am using a fan brush by this brand called Kenzie. I got it at TJ Maxx. And a little bit on the chin and Cupid's bow. And since I do like to have very prominent like Cupid's bow, I like to like really take my finger and then just go right there. Okay, next what we are going to do is we're going to do blush. And I like to do blush different from a lot of people, and I'll get to that in a second. But for now, I am using the Palladio matte blush in the shade Toasted Apricot, and it looks like this. It's as you can tell, if it was like full pigment like this, it's actually really pretty once it's like blended out and everything. But I just dip my brush into there, 1, 2. Tap off all the excess, and then I like to bring it on the apples on my cheeks, kind of dab it, and then bring it back. because that will melt the highlight and contour together. And then do the same on the other side. So what we are going to do is we are going to use the Jaclyn Hill palette. This is like one of my favorites. As you can tell, it's pretty dirty and I just cleaned it. So yeah. And for this, we are going to dip into the Silk Cream first, and I'm using that on a Morphe M433 brush. And then what I like to do is I like to, oh, and I did prime my eyes already, so. What I like to do is kind of take it on in the crease, and then a little bit above. And it does make it look a little bit redder than it is. Like, as you can tell, this is not really red. But, because I have other products left over on my brush. And then just blend it up. I like to bring it really high up to like right here, because I do have a lot of space up here, so why not just use it? And then do the same for the other eye. Next shade I'm using is a shade right next to it, which is called M.F.E.O. It is a light brown. And then I like to take that and just kind of deepen it up a little bit. And I do like to bring it like very far out, because my eyebrows go pretty far out. So if I didn't do that, it wouldn't really match up with the rest. Okay. And then I used the same Morphe brush for that, but now I'm going to grab I'm not sure where this is from, but I know I got it at Ulta. It kind of just looks like this. And I am taking the shade Creamsicle, which is a light orange, or kind of like a mustard yellow shade, which I really like. And then I like to blend in windshield wiper motions. And this kind of does bring like back the orangey vibes instead of like the red. Alright, and then next I am taking the shade Hunts, which is kind of like a cherry red in the palette, and I really like it. And then I'm just gonna put this on the outer V first, and then blend it inward, and then bring it into the crease and a little above. So you kind of want like a gradient effect going. As you can tell, this eye is a lot darker already than the other eye, just by adding that little cherry red shade. And one thing I will say about this palette is it is very pigmented, but also like buildable. Like, it's not too pigmented. And then just bring it into the inner corner of your eye, which I always forget to do on the other eye, so I have to go back. And then that's what it should start to look like. Get a little closer. Okay, and then next I'm taking, oh, and this one is a brush off Amazon, by the way. And then I'm taking my Wet n Wild brush. I'm not sure what it is anymore, but it's from Wet n Wild. And I am taking the shade Jacz, which is a deeper red than the other one. And I'm just focusing this in the crease, like directly in the crease. And then a little bit on the outer corner. And then I'm blending in circular motions for this one, and windshield wiper motions, because I really want it to blend out on the edge. Really want a smoked out look. Okay, and once you're happy with the way that this looks, it should look something like this. I'm going back into a little fluffy brush, which looks like this. Mine is from, I'm not sure, it doesn't have a name. But I know that Makeup Geek has these brushes also, so if you want to head over there and look for one that looks like this, I'll kind of get a little closer. And that's what it looks like. And I'm going into the shade Abyss, which is a black. And then make sure to tap off the excess, especially with blacks. And then I like to very lightly stipple it on, because I don't want it to be too pigmented. And I very lightly tapped into that. Okay, and then I'm going back in with the shade that the brush, the Morphe M443 or M433 brush, and I'm going to blend that into the crease. And then use circular motions on the outer part of my eye. Because I really want it to be blended out. As you can tell, this is getting a little bit dark on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that other dark red shade and then kind of go over it. And that blended it out a lot better. And then I have to go back in on this side. Okay, next what we are going to do is we are going to take a flat brush. Any flat one will do. I'm using this one, which I got in a Makeup Revolution palette. And it just looks like this, just a flat shader brush. And I'm going to spray it with some setting spray. And for that I'm using the Ulta Beauty Matte setting spray. And I'm dipping into the shade Faint. And I'm putting that on the inner part of my eye. Next, what we are going to do is we're going to take a felt tip liner and some eyeliner. And what I like to do is I take an old brush, which is from, probably shouldn't even use this because it's probably unhygienic, but I don't care. And I'm using the Ulta Beauty gel eyeliner in the shade Black, and it's a very, very creamy formula. And I am taking it along the very, very tops of my lash line, of my upper lash line. And as you can tell, it got a little thicker than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. And that is the eyeliner completed. Kind of looks like this. I do have to fix this side a little more though. Next up is setting spray. I'm using the Masters Fix by Face Studio, and it's by Maybelline, and I do this before lips and eyes because sometimes it'll run if you do it the opposite way. So I'm just going to spray this. All over my face. And then what I like to do is a trick I learned from, I don't remember, but I think it was my mom, and just tap it in very lightly because you don't want to disrupt any other product underneath. And then once you do this, it prevents it from having any like lines or anything from showing up. And also makes your highlight look a lot more natural. So that is that. And then for mascara, I'm using the Bad Gal Bang by M.F.E.O. I don't think they have any other shades, but mine's in black. And then I just like to coat my lashes a few times. And as you can tell, like, I don't know if you can really see on camera, but like you can really tell that it like separated my lashes and made them very, very like long. And then I go on the other side with a second coat. And then for the lower lash line, I don't like bringing it like all the way on my lashes. I just like doing the outer corner. I kind of do a zigzag motion and then bring down. And then that is what it should look like. It is kind of like one of my go-to looks for the Jaclyn Hill palette. And next we are going to do lips. I have the Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Lipstick, or Liquid Catsuit, and it is in the shade Give Me Mocha. And then what I like to do is, since I have pretty small lips, I like to outline them. And I bring it a little farther out on the corner. I just purse my lips together, and then that kind of evenly distributes the product, and I do the same on the other side. And I do go in with a second layer most of the time because I liked it to be full pigment. And there you have it, your completed look with the Jaclyn Hill palette. I hope you guys liked my video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you. Bye.